Hey guys, welcome back to Ultimate S&S. So as many of you know, the food shortages that are coming and the inflation prices coming up, it's important to get food now while you can afford it. Grow food out in the garden if you can. You want to be as self-sufficient as possible because eventually there's not going to be factories canning this stuff because people are not going to work for nothing. So what are we looking at here today? Starting from the right, we have our seasoned filled peas and snaps. Got a couple cans of that. And some mixed greens. I don't really need greens. I got plenty of them, but we went ahead and picked it up because it's something we may need later. And you can mix those greens and those beans or however you want to do it. You can always mix and match food and make a meal out of it, guys. You don't want to eat the same stuff over and over and over. So then we have our fruits, which will be assorted. So we have pear slices, peaches. We have the extra cherry fruit mix. I cannot find pears right now. I'm not sure what's going on with that, guys. But then we have our beanie weenies up here in the front. I always try to stack some of those. They're a nice little snack to have. You can make a small meal, but it's not going to fill you up. So today we are going to be discussing a little bit, not just about why it's important to prep, but why it's important for you to actually take the time to get self-sufficient. You want to be growing food. Yes, you want to buy food now. You want to get as much food as you can. You want to start stockpiling supplies if you haven't done that already. If you have started doing that, then continue to do it. I typically will be trying to grow my own food out here. We've been doing a lot of garden videos. It looks like it's going to be a good harvest this year, but it does not hurt to continue to get food while you can afford it, guys. So then we have our whole kernel corn, our mixed chili beans. These come in two different varieties, and these are about 67-70 cents per can. I would recommend getting them. It's going to be your chili beans. Got all your flavoring. You can add ground beef to it if you want to. It's up to you. A lot of people prefer to make their own chili by scratch. I kind of fall into that category. However, in a survival situation, it's great to have that option. Then we have our corned beef. I try to pick up some of that if I can. It's getting expensive. I think that stuff is like $6 a can now. That's for Great Value brand. That's insane. Then we have our cut green beans and our tomato soup. It's important right now, guys, that you understand the hour that we're in and what is coming. I know that you're watching a lot of these news agencies that are just filling the news airwaves up with stuff that's abroad, things that doesn't even matter, like the Johnny Depp thing and all that kind of stuff. None of that means anything to any actual American, but they try to keep you entertained so that your eyes are not going around and seeing what's happening in the real world today. And what is happening in the real world today is we are having food shortages. We are having farmers that cannot afford to buy fertilizer because of the fertilizer crisis that has been started because of this mess over in Europe, guys. All of that will transpire down to us in cost. Also, the diesel shortage. The prices of diesel fuel have been going up. They're going crazy. I try to keep my RV tanks full. I try to keep my generator tanks full and then have diesel fuel on standby. Understand when you do that, you need to be buying a solution that's going to add to your tanks. And what that does is that keeps a lot of that diesel fuel and stuff from going bad. You can add it to that. And you want to be running those generators, guys. You need to fire your generators up. I know a lot of you take your generator and put it in the storage bin and just leave it there until you need it. What you need to do with that generator is at least once a month, fire it up, put it under a full load. That's going to exercise the generator. Let it run for about an hour. Go ahead and stop it. It's going to keep all your fluids up in the generator. It's also going to help you keep your generator itself in tip-top shape, guys. So if you've never seen inside of a generator, I would recommend that you look at that. You do not want a situation where that crap is getting built up, a gray wall and moisture and stuff like that, and causing it to go bad. It's important that you exercise your generators, everyone. So I hope everyone has been enjoying the videos. I'm going to be getting out to the garden today. Looked like there was a couple cucumbers yesterday. Went out and did some watering today. Looks like we got quite a few. So we're going to try to get that done. Those cucumbers that first come off that vine, they are not going to be prepped, unfortunately. They're already spoken for. That means that my dad and myself will be eating cucumbers today. Yesterday we had some fried up squash. We went out and some of those first blooms that you get on a squash plant, guys, you're not going to, if you see female flowers, they will have what looks like the little squash fruit or zucchini fruit attached to a flower. If there are no male flowers anywhere around for it to be pollinating, then you can take that, the bloom and the piece of fruit and all, and you can cook that. That is a delicacy in most countries. I personally do not like the texture of the flower itself, so I do not use that. I just use the fruits itself, and you chop that up, you saute it in a little bit of butter, put a little bit of black pepper with that, and you're good to go. So that's what I had with my dinner yesterday, and today we're going to have some cucumbers for our snacks and stuff like that. But the berries out here, been trying to get a lot of those. We are playing out. It is so hot out here. I don't imagine we're going to have blackberries for maybe more than a few more days, maybe a week tops. But everyone have a wonderful day, and whatever you do, be sure that you plan ahead. Not just for you, not because you're scared or anything like that. You want to be prepared. This is about getting you prepared, getting your minds prepared for what's coming. There is a day coming where you are not going to be able to just walk into the store and get what you want. The day's already here where if you walk into the store, the chances of them having what you want are pretty slim. And then at a price you can afford it, that's going to be almost unheard of here in another few months. They are saying right now that the prices are expected to start increasing exponentially starting the middle of June, and that by the end of the year, the prices will be so high that most people will not be able to afford just basic canned goods. That is what the reports are saying. That is where we're headed. So get your heads out of the sand. Stop thinking about those big trips to Hollywood or whatever it is, and start protecting your family, investing in their future. Now, if you're already set up and you've got all your food stockpiled, you're self-sufficient, everything's going great, hey man, that's awesome. If you're going on vacation, you have fun. You're ready, you're set up. But understand, you could go on that vacation and potentially get stuck there away from your preps. So you need to have some ideas of how you would get home or where you would go in a situation like that. There's so much stuff that could happen. Perhaps you're at work. Are you going to be able to get to your home? I know a lot of people have a long commute. I've been there myself. So you need to be thinking about what are some ways, what are some routes that you can take. If you have to get out of a SHTF scenario, you want to have places that have food stockpiled. Even if all you have is this much food, guys, you could ration that out. You really could. You could ration this out to last you a while. But if you have a family, this kind of food's not going to help you much. That might give you a week depending on how many people's in your family. So you need to prep accordingly. Prep what you eat. Prep what you prefer. You don't have to prep exactly what I prep here, guys. I'm just showing you ideas of stuff that I do. I switch it around. I do a lot of vitamins. Vegetables, I do a lot of vegetables, not vitamins, sorry. I do a lot of vegetables and stuff because they have different types of vitamins and stuff in them. Now, cooked in a can, you know, there are probably not as many vitamins and stuff in that food. It's probably not as nutritious as it is coming fresh out of the garden, but it beats starving. You're not going to care what kind of MSG this stuff has. In a situation where you're starving to death, you're going to eat it. Chances are most people would eat canned dog food if they were starving to death. At least this stuff is flavored for people and not for dogs. Something to think about. Everyone have a wonderful day. And go ahead and cue up those comments, guys, about how some of this stuff just isn't healthy. You know, hey, while I'm eating and you're starving, you'll remember that maybe healthy isn't always the best way to eat when you want something to eat. But you know, feel free to sit around eating your grasshoppers and stuff like that if you want to. I'm going to be eating, you know, this type of stuff. And don't stock up on sugary junk food, guys. There's nothing wrong with having some back, especially if you have kids, as a treat. And understand you would have to give that like a piece a day, the way they used to do it way back in the day, which was more like a piece a week. But it's important to have some of that sugar and stuff on hand because sugar does give you a sugar boost, and it can really up your morale. If you're feeling low, you can get a little bit of sugar in you, and that's going to help you a lot. So I would recommend like the fruit mix up here, guys. It has a light syrup, so that's great to have. If you're a diabetic, then obviously you probably don't want to drink too much of that stuff. But if you're dealing with sugar lows a lot, you know, it would not be a bad option to have stuff like this on hand, because how long can you store orange juice without actually having a refrigerator or something around? So this is a really good way to make sure that you have something there. If your sugar drops, maybe you can take a little swig of this, out of your peaches or out of your fruit mix or your pears or whatever type of fruit you're using, guys, canned fruit. Everyone have a wonderful day.